Hi friends, and welcome to another video, or if you're new here, hi, I'm Abby. I'm an American. I've been living in England for the past month with my husband Jeff and our cat Tedward. Hi friends, just popping in here before this video starts to let you know that my eye contact is a little weird for like the first half of the video because I could not figure out where to look. Because I'm using my iPhone because I broke my vlogging camera, unfortunately. So I have officially been here for a month, and so I thought I would do a little bit more of a sit-down video kind of talking about my experience here so far. I will leave timestamps down at the bottom, so if you're only interested in certain portions of this video, you can go ahead and skip around and do whatever it is that you want to do. I'm first going to start with my cat. He got into a plastic bag. Hold on. Get out of the bag. Yeah, get out of that bag. Say hi. So I will first start with a summary of my past month. Getting here was pretty wild. Obviously, you just saw my cat, and so I had to go through this whole ordeal of getting my cat here. When I was researching how to bring a pet over, everything that I read said any pet entering the UK directly has to go through the cargo hold. It's also more expensive to fly an animal through the cargo hold. So I brought him with me and I flew him to Dublin. And then from Dublin, we took a ferry across to, I have since been told that it's Holyhead, not Holyhead. So we took a ferry to Wales and then a train from there to Salisbury, which is where we're staying. We were trying to find a place out in London, and we could not find a place that would allow us to lease for 6 months and also have our cat. It was kind of one or the other. It was either short-term lease or no pet. So obviously we can only stay here for 6 months as Americans on a tourist visa, and also we have a cat. So like we can't really change any of those. And then also our budget. So we would find a place, but it wouldn't be in budget. So we just kind of started going out and out and out. And honestly, I'm really glad we came out to Salisbury, came out away from London. And I've found through my travels of being here that I've been really enjoying seeing the countryside and seeing other places. The month since then, I have my notes on my iPad because so much has happened. The first week was just us getting accustomed to being here. So it was setting up our place and just kind of getting the lay of the land of Salisbury, checking out all the grocery stores. I've gotten quite a bit of comments about the grocery stores. A few people were very shocked that I compare Waitrose to Target. I'm sorry. I've been there since then, and I would say it's not like Target at all. I have nothing to compare it to. I would say of all the grocery stores that I've tried, which are Waitrose, I don't know how to properly say it. Is it Wait? Because there's two words. There's Wait and then there's Rose. But I've been told in the comments that it's Waitrose. The T is attached to the rose. Waitrose. Let me know if what it is. I've been to Lidl. I've been to Sainsbury, Tesco. Where else? Is that it? Oh, Marks and Spencer. And I will say, of all of the grocery stores that I have tried so far, I think Waitrose and Tesco are probably my favorites. Tesco for the meal deal. I love that thing. And Waitrose just because it's a little bit bougie. It's just nice. One thing I also have really enjoyed about being here is the farmers market that they have every single week. I ate the best strawberries of my entire life. They were so good. I would love to just delete that memory from my mind and then go back to the farmer's market and then retry those strawberries again so I can experience it for the first time, because it was just the best strawberries that I've ever had in my life. And that's definitely one thing I'm gonna miss when I go back to the States, is just those strawberries. I think about those strawberries on almost a daily basis. So whoever that farmer is that grew those strawberries, well done. They were delicious and I ate them all. I went to Waterstones for the first time. You guys know, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I love books. And back home we have Barnes & Noble. That's our equivalent to Waterstones. And yeah, that's just something that I've been really excited to go to just because, you know, it's different. And it's something that a lot of my friends online, we talk about, you know, the different covers, Barnes & Noble versus Waterstone covers. And so I love that Salisbury has a little Waterstones that I can go and walk into. I have gotten some comments saying, hey, why don't you get like a library card? Or, you know, digital books and that kind of stuff. And I do have a library card. I still have a library card that's connected to my home library out in California, so I still get library books. I'm at my maximum amount of holds and maximum amount of loans, so I'm constantly using it all the time. I also have a subscription for this thing called Scribd, so that's where I listen to 90% of my audiobooks. I for the most part, use Scribd in my library, Libby, the Libby app, for most of my books, but being here in the UK, I can't come to the UK and not get certain exclusive covers that I can't get back at home, or that it's more costly for the books to get shipped to my house. So while I'm here, there are a couple of books I want to get, but I am a girl that supports buying used books and likes to go to independent bookshops. So that's what I've been trying to do with a lot of my videos, is visit these independent shops. And it's been a lot of fun. I started taking my cat on walks, which he has loved so much. Back home in California, you know, we live in Orange County, we live in the city, and in the house that we lived in was on a very, very busy street. And so there were always cars going and kids riding bikes and just a lot of loud noises. And we didn't have a lot of green spaces. And so he was always an inside cat. And it always broke my heart because he likes to sit on the windowsills and just look outside. And I could just tell that he really craved going outside. And so being here has been so nice for him because he's been able to get out of the house and experience all that there is to see, and new sights, new sounds. I've always described Tedward as a dog in a cat suit. He has very dog-like behavior. He loves to be with people and he loves experiencing new things, which is very different than any other cat that I've ever had in my life. I'm now going to insert some serotonin of Ted walking around a park.
Okay. Go ahead.
I don't know why he wants to walk over there. There's flowers over here.
Where are you gonna go? Oh.
He's trying to figure out how he's gonna get in this tree.
Go home now. Up.
He doesn't want to go back in the bag.
You don't want to go back in the bag. Huh?
He's like, if I ignore the bag, there is no bag. He's had a taste of freedom and he doesn't want to relinquish his freedom. He wants to smell every type of grass, every type of flower, every type of shrub. We've been out here for an hour and a half. The second week that I was here, I went to London for the first time in 5 years. I will say going to London after, you know, all the chaos of the past couple of years, it was really weird. It's just very odd seeing a bunch of people just out and about because, you know, you're so used to not seeing a lot of people, and it was honestly kind of overwhelming, but we had a very nice chill day. I did get a comment about the breakfast that we ate that day and how expensive it was. And it was expensive. I think it was over 41 pounds. Like, that's a lot. Next time I ever have breakfast in London, I definitely want to do it on a budget. So if anyone knows of any budget breakfast joints in London, please let me know. This place, it was nice, but it was also a panic to find a place that had an opening. Literally, I think we tried like 3 or 4 places and they all wanted a reservation, or the wait time was like 2 hours, and we were starving at that point. And this was the first place that was like, yes, we have an open table here, come on in. So that's kind of how we stumbled into that. Great service, wonderful people. It's just, yeah, it's very, very expensive. So yeah, definitely looking for more budget friendly breakfast places. So let me know. I also went to the Celebration of Flowers here in Salisbury. It was over at the cathedral, and it was to celebrate 800 years of the cathedral as well as to celebrate the Queen's Jubilee. So I believe there were 30,000 floral arrangements in the cathedral, and that was a really, really pretty experience. I also went to Wilton House and I took a bus for the first time on my own. I really love that house. Oh my gosh, that house is gorgeous. If you have never been to it, definitely take a tour there. There's an hour-long tour that you can do. You have to book in advance, but it was a lovely tour, and that's definitely one of my favorite things that I've done while being here. And then walk around the grounds. I had such a lovely day on my own. And then the third week, you guys didn't get a vlog from me because I was just laying in bed all day because unfortunately I caught COVID. Thankfully, I was only ill for like a couple of days. I got over it pretty quickly. It felt like a minor cold. I watched Netflix. I watched Dairy Girls, which I absolutely love and I'm obsessed with now. And I read 3.5 Bridgerton books. And then the week after that, I went to a farm. I went to Riverbourne Community Farm. I saw a bunch of small little creatures. I saw some cows, and I had a good old country time. And it really made me miss home because I'm from a small little cow town. Aside from London, we also took a couple of other day trips outside of Salisbury. So we went to Bath, got to do a cute little Jane Austen tour and see the giant Waterstones there and visit a lot of really cool bookstores while we were there. And then we also went to Winchester, got to see the Round Table, and I went to this really, really cool place for lunch called Pie Carumba. That is a super nerdy place that serves these pies. We got to see the beautiful Winchester Cathedral. Loved it. I really love the little library that you couldn't take pictures of or video of, so you definitely got to go and see for yourself. But that, oh my gosh, that is an absolutely stunningly beautiful cathedral. And then the last video that you guys saw should be catching you guys up to this point, and that was when we went to see the Philharmonic in London during the first day of the Jubilee. So it was crazy as expected, but that was a really, really fun day. We got to see video games in concert at the Royal Music Hall, Royal Albert Hall. I keep forgetting the name of it. I'm so sorry. If you're a nerd or you're just interested in music that isn't classical music, you want something that's different and unique, check out a themed concert and go to one. They're so fun. So that should catch you guys up on everything that we have done in the past month. So this channel, aside from being a channel about travel and sharing my travel experience, it's also a book channel. So I want to talk about the books that I read this month. So I read Velvet Was a Night by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I gave it 3 stars. It's a noir style book about 1970s Mexico. We have our main character who's trying to solve the mystery of where her friend is. Her friend is missing. Reading that book just made me realize that I'm not a noir person, but I love Sylvia's writing, which is why I read it. I've read 2 of her other books and I really enjoyed them, and I'll continue to read Sylvia's books. She's a great author. And then obviously I read the 3.5 Bridgerton books during my unfortunate COVID moment. I don't remember what they were, the titles of the books, which really should say a lot about these books. If I can't remember the titles of them, I'll just talk about them in the sense of the character that they're about, because I can't remember the titles of the books. I read, what are the names of the characters now? I can't remember. I read Benedict's book, which is like a Cinderella retelling. That was probably my favorite one of all the ones that I read. He finds this girl at a masquerade party, and for 2 years, he's trying to figure out who she is, and she has an evil stepmother, all that kind of stuff. Very cute story. I liked it. I like Benedict as a character. He's probably my favorite brother. Then I read Penelope's book, and I like that one. Penelope and Colin, they're really cute. I'm glad I know what happens in the next Bridgerton series. And then I read Eloise's book, and that is the one that I ended up DNFing because it's not good. Sir Philip is a terrible love interest. He basically wants a wife so that way he can pawn off his responsibilities of being a parent onto her. Sir Philip is just not a good love interest. So just skip that one, and then you can move on to the next book, which is, what is her name? Francesca. Francesca is her name. Francesca's book, which I really, really liked. I liked that one too. So yeah, Francesca's book and Benedict's book were probably my 2 favorite books. Do these books have issues? Yes. But are they easy reads? Things that you can binge read? Things that you can just read and leave your mind elsewhere? Yes. So they serve the purpose for why I read them. So that's all I'm going to say about them, because they're not good. But I'm probably going to continue the series and read all of them, because that's just how I am. I am aware, I've gotten a few comments, I am aware that they are not historically accurate, so you can stop leaving that comment. I know that they're not, okay? They're fictionalized, and they're written by an American woman, okay? So if you would like to recommend an actually good historical romance series that is written by a British author, please let me know. I'm very, very interested. I am a sucker for romance books. And then the last book that I read was Ariande, how do I say it? And then the last book I read was Ariadne. I had to say that like 6 times. I could not pronounce it. I'm so sorry. And that is a Greek retelling about Ariadne, and I believe his name is Theseus, and the slaying of the Minotaur, and how he leaves her on Naxos and marries her sister, and some tragic stuff. It's really, really good. I love Greek retellings. I mean, granted, this is only the second one that I've read. I also read A Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, but I'm liking these books. I'm in the mood for these books. The author of Ariadne is Jennifer Saint, so I definitely want to read her new book, which is Electra. I also still need to read Madeline Miller's other book, Circe. So I have gotten some recommendations from you guys of books that I should read, and I'm definitely adding them to my TBR. A lot of you guys recommend that I read Sarum by Edward Rutherford and Notes from a Small Island by Bill Bryson. So I will definitely be adding those. Thank you to all of you who suggested that I read those books. I mentioned this in the previous video, but I have a really hard time sometimes when it comes to reading and processing information, because I don't see pictures in my mind. And so sometimes I will have to read a page like 10 times before I can actually consume what I just read. But I have an interest in history, even though I didn't do well in history class when I was in high school. So if you guys have any interesting retellings that you can recommend, I also am really interested in mythology and legends and obviously fantasy. Other than biographies and memoirs, I'm pretty much open to reading just about anything. So please drop a comment and let me know what I should read while I'm here out in England. I want to know and learn as much about England and soak it up as much as I can while I'm here. Thomas Hardy is on my list, you guys, and I do have one of his books, and I do plan on reading it. It's Far from the Madding Crowd. I have that one, and I do want to read more of his books because I know he made an impression on Salisbury, so he's on my list of authors that I want to read, but I do want to expand my reading other than just him and Jane Austen, so please, 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 please leave some book recommendations for me. I now want to talk about all the things that I've loved so far about being in the UK. The first being everyone's hospitality. Everyone that I've met so far has been incredibly kind, and that is such a change from American culture where people don't really want to talk to strangers, and you know, there are a lot of rude people. So it's been really nice being around nice people. I have watched a lot of British television, so I am kind of familiar with a lot of the sayings or greetings and stuff that people say. But it always melts my heart a little bit when I go into a restaurant and someone says, "Hey there, you all right?" I like that. I also like that the restroom is called the loo. So much shorter and easier to say. Litter instead of garbage. Sounds much more pleasant than saying the word garbage. Garbage is such a guttural word. I love how people say cheers to thank people. You know, it's just nice. Like, I don't know, like things just sound nicer here. I love knowing the cost of things. I don't need to do some crazy percentages like 10.8% and then try and math how much my total is going to be when I get to the register. I know ahead of time. So I really, really like that. Love contactless payment. Contactless is in the US, but I feel like it's not as big of a thing as it is here. So I love that I can just tap and go. I also like how when you go into a coffee shop, You order your coffee and then the barista just makes your coffee for you and hands your coffee and then you go. It's not like in the US where they take like 10 people's orders and you have some people who end up getting upset because they're like, why did that person get their coffee before me? I came before them. Like there truly is a first come, first serve thing here. And I appreciate that. I love that when you're crossing the street, cars let you cross the street. I don't know if that's just a rule. Is it a rule? Is it like a pedestrians get the right of way type of thing? Or is it just people's niceness? I want to hope that it's just people's niceness. I love all of the green spaces. I already mentioned that my cat absolutely loves being in the green spaces, but I love them too. I also love when I go to parks and I see kids that are outside playing. In the US, kids are glued to their iPads, and video games and all that kind of stuff. And it's so refreshing to see children going out and playing and being children. Let's now talk about weather. I actually enjoy the rain personally. Coming from California where everything is dry and dead and brown, I have really loved the rain. But I've also always loved the rain for sort of the calmness of it. Like every time it rains, I always fall asleep faster. I find rain really soothing. I also love to read in the rain. Like rain is just a whole vibe that I subscribe to. Jeff, however, does not like the rain. He is a creature of the sun. He loves his 90-degree weather. So he has not had such a great time with the weather, but I actually like it and I'm putting it in my pro section, okay? Obviously, I'm not here for the dead of winter when it's absolutely cold. I've never experienced living in the winter. We won't be here for the winter, but the weather that's here right now, this June gloom, the rain that happens almost on a daily basis, the rain that you can't predict. I have definitely stopped checking the weather app because I don't see a point because the weather app is never accurate, but I like it. I love not having a car. I love that I can walk everywhere or take the bus. I have enjoyed taking afternoon walks and getting outside because when I was living in California, I would take my car, even if I was just going somewhere that was a 10-minute walk away. Having my car it's such a convenience that it definitely made me make excuses to not go on a walk. The only downside to walking was the week after we had COVID because we were super, super weak and it was hard. It was so hard to get ourselves to get out and walk and to go to the store. Like it felt so taxing and so tiring. So other than being sick, walking has been great and I have loved it. I'm not going to say there are things that I don't love. Give me a couple weeks just to adjust to things and then it quickly becomes a routine for me. I will say there are some things that are weird, different. So that's the word that I will use. Please don't take any of this super personally. Things closing at 4 p.m. Although, I will say, with things closing so early, it encourages me to get out of bed earlier and start my day earlier. Because if I start my day at like noon or 1, I don't have that much time to do all the things that I need to do. So in a way, it actually kind of is a good thing that things close at 4. I do find it odd though that things aren't starting to close later because it's summer. At least in California, summer is peak season for us. So that's when things are open super late because we're getting more tourists and, and people are just going out and doing more things. So I kind of thought that would be a similar thing here as we're getting into summer, that things would be opening up later, but maybe it's just a labor thing. Brits maybe just have a better work-life balance and are not overworking themselves working 12+ hour days. Or maybe, it's just mom and pop places that, they don't have staff to keep places open for long hours. I'm assuming that's probably what it is. But yeah, just something that's different and something for me to get used to. The white lines on the street. We are planning to rent a car at some point while we are here, but I'm kind of terrified of that because everything is a white line. In the US, we have white lines and we have yellow lines. So it's very easy to tell like where you need to be, what the correct lane is, when to stop. They sort of like baby proof everything for us. And so here, everything is a white line. So it's all looking the same. So that's different. And that's something that we're definitely going to have to read some driving manuals or something to prepare us for some drives that we're going to be taking. And then the last thing that I will say that's odd, different from home pertains to the house that we live in. So we live in an older place. I am used to living in old places. The last place that we lived in California was an old 1920s building, so over 100 years old. And so I don't have a problem with the lack of air conditioning. But the problem I do have is with the 2 faucet thing in our bathroom, our tub. This tub is an absolute nightmare. I can never adjust the temperature correctly. It's either too hot or too cold. And then there's this little hose thing where, okay, so it's supposed to go up here and stick here. Why is it facing that direction? Because then the water is just gonna spray here, out here. I don't know what the purpose of hanging it up is because you can't use it in a practical sense like you were showering.
Jeff even tried to MacGyver this tub into a shower and it did not work. It was a huge fail.
Look at this couch potato. I now want to talk about my bucket list and future plans. I have gotten a lot of comments from you guys saying, you need to go to the north, you need to go to the north. Why haven't you gone to the north yet? I have plans, okay? We are going to the north. It just hasn't happened yet because we're waiting for our cat sitter to get here. Tedward, he needs to get fed. And if we take trips that are longer than 2 hours, it makes things kind of difficult because, you know, the travel time to get there and then, you know, coming back, like all the travel time, it cuts into our time to be able to be there. And we can't stay overnight because we have Tedward. We need to be home to feed him and clean his litter and all that kind of stuff. And so that's why we haven't gone outside of, you know, very far, I guess, from where we are. But we do have plans. We do have plans to go up north because my brother is actually going to be coming and hanging out with us for an extended period of time. Don't know how long, but I'm going to take advantage of him while he's here. My brother is trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life. And so we asked him if he wanted to come out and hang out with us. My brother also has a Twitch stream. And so he really wants to work on that. And so he's going to take the time while he's out here to really work on his channel. And that is great because he is going to be our pet sitter.
We would like to take Ted on some weekend trips, but right now we want to give him more time to adjust to being here. It was a very stressful journey for him to get here, so we don't want to throw him into any long travel days too soon. Also, since he relatively recently went to the vet, he's convinced that every time his travel backpack comes out that he's going to the vet, but hopefully at some point while we're out here, Ted will be able to join us on a long outing.
So we would love to go to the Cotswolds, Brighton, New Forest, Dartmoor National Park, Cardiff. So we do plan on going out to Wales, the White Cliffs of Dover, Highclere Castle. I'm a fan of Downton Abbey. And you guys have left so many comments recommending that I go here. And that is hey on why. York, Oxford, Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool. I would love to do a road trip around the Scottish Highlands, Glasgow, and Edinburgh. And some of you guys have recommended that I go to the Writers' Museum, so I'm adding that to my list. Obviously, I want to see these major cities and these tourist areas, but I want to see areas outside too. Some of the lesser known places. So please leave some recommendations of places that I need to see that are, you know, off the beaten path or unique, you know, things that not a lot of tourists go to. Some place that we can access easily with public transportation. But yeah, let me know of places that we need to go to. I am so excited about traveling around the UK, and please subscribe to my channel so you guys can stay in tune with all of the places that we go to. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you've stuck around this long, this is probably a super long video, but I've just had such a wonderful experience so far, and I can't wait for more adventures. Ooh.